So it's no secret that Mopars get stolen a lot. Despite Mopars being stolen so much, they're not actually the easiest car to steal. So what, you may ask, is the easiest car to steal? So when it comes to American muscle cars, there's actually a car easier than a Dodge to steal. And how do we know this? Well, a thief told us so. A certified professional car thief told us so, to be exact. So what car is it that is so easy to steal that is actually easier to steal than a Mopar? Well, let's talk about the car that is easier to steal and how you can stop yourself from being a victim. Let's get into the video. Today's video is brought to you by Carlock, the world's best GPS tracking and alert system. With Carlock, you'll be able to get various alerts to monitor your car, such as vehicle movement, vehicle vibrations, engine starting. The unfortunate event that your car lock gets disconnected, you will get an alert for that too. You can purchase your own car lock by clicking on the link down below. That will give you a 10% discount on your Carlock purchase, as well as use my code to get a 14-day free trial with Carlock as well. Get you a Carlock, you deserve that peace of mind. Let's get into the video. YouTube family, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you are new here, we do a lot of car-related content on this channel, and you are in the right place for all car-related content. So if you have not already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so that way you can stay up to date on everything that we have going on. And for those of you that have already subscribed to the channel, big salute to you all for doing so and being part of the family, but we will not hold you too long. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail. So yes, at the top of the video, I mentioned cars being stolen. We know Mopars. When I mean Mopars, I'm talking anything made by Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Any of those cars are pretty easy to steal based on the high theft rate that is going on. I still see on my social media platforms these cars being stolen left and right. I'm seeing posts all the time for Durangos, TRXs, Chargers, Challengers, all of those type of cars still being stolen at an alarming rate. So if these cars are being stolen so often, that must make those cars easy to steal, right? Well, yes, they are easy to steal, but however, there's actually another car that's actually easier to steal than a Mopar. So what car is it that, you may ask, that is easier to steal than a Mopar, even though Mopars get stolen almost daily? Well, probably hourly, right? Well, got a couple of clips here. This came from another YouTube channel, Tommy G. Some of you may have seen this video, some of you may not, but there was a couple of things that happened in this video that really certified that Mopars actually aren't the easiest car to steal. There's actually another car out there that's easier to steal. And the person that said that is a car thief. This person makes a living by stealing cars, and he went through the whole process of how these cars get stolen, what tools and devices he used. He actually talked about what makes some cars harder to steal than others, what makes other cars easier to steal than others. He did the whole nine. He talked about the whole VIN swap process, everything a car thief does, he talked about in this video. Of course, he hid his identity. He did that, but everything else, he pretty much went step by step on how this is happening. Now, I'm no car thief, so to me, a car gets stolen is a car gets stolen, but he really went into detail about how this happened. So let's dive into a couple of these clips here. So I'm gonna bring y'all in here. So come in here real quick. So this first clip here is actually a guy at the dealership. He's actually talking about a Hellcat that was appeared to be modded, that actually had like over 1,000 horsepower or whatever, that a thief attempted to steal here. And one of the things that this certified professional car thief, he did say that this car, he could have stolen it, but it does take some time to steal. So I'm gonna play the clip and let y'all see for yourselves here.
Off from the dealer plate. Yeah, it happened. It's a Hellcat, you know, right next to our showroom.
So you talking about the Hellcat here.
1,000 horsepower Hellcat, and 5 in the morning they came and broke the windows, tried to get in it, but yeah, they couldn't get it started, so they left it.
They couldn't start the car.
To program the key. I'm the guy who's usually hitting your lots, taking
That's
you down
the
to
thief right
stuff,
there.
to be honest with you.
So is it worth it?
Not at all. but it's a cycle. What can I say? I basically
So there you have it, guys. So this first clip here, this professional car thief himself said that those cars pretty much can be stolen, but it's not worth it because of the fact that it takes so long to program a key. And you'll see what cars he's comparing it to here. Like I said, there's another car that is much more easier to steal than the Dodge Charger or Dodge Challenger here. And he'll go into more detail on that on this next clip. So this next clip I'm about to show you here. So the thief is walking through the dealership lot here, and he's noticed a Dodge Ram. I say Dodge Ram. Ram is not a real thing anymore. Ram, I'm kind of old school. I'm used to saying Dodge Ram. But he notices a Ram truck sitting there as well as a GM truck, so like a Chevy truck or something of that nature. And he talks about the time difference from stealing these particular cars. So I'll let him speak to that.
any car can get taken, but it's the amount of time that takes to get
So it's all about time.
Like these Ram trucks, I can take those, but they take like 4 or 5 minutes. But the GM trucks, I can start in 30 seconds.
This is pretty crazy.
So there he goes. So he said a Ram truck can take about 4 or 5 minutes to steal. First he said any car can get stolen, so it's just a matter of how much time it takes. So like I said, the Ram truck, 4 or 5 minutes to steal, but the GM truck or a truck made by GM can take only 30 seconds to steal here. So if you're hearing this right, Ram trucks all have the same technology as a Dodge Charger, Dodge Challenger, TRX, all that. Well, TRX is a Ram, duh, but they all share the same technology as Jeep as well. All those cars share the same technology when it comes to their startup system and things of that nature. All have the same software. So if it takes a Ram truck 4 to 5 minutes to start, more than likely the other cars will take about the same there, since they're using the same technology there. GM or any car or truck made by GM only takes 30 seconds here. And he'll go into detail why it takes those cars only 30 seconds, but it takes a Mopar 4 to 5 minutes. So in this next clip here, the thief, this car thief, he's in the office with the owner of the car dealership, and pretty much before this whole thing took place, they were walking through the car lot. He was actually pointing out different things like, hey, you need cameras here, these cameras don't work well, certain things that he notices as a professional car thief that he could exploit to steal cars, and how a lot of times a lot of these car dealerships don't have the best technology available to them to secure their cars and things of that nature. So in this clip right here, he actually is talking with someone else on the phone about the differences in stealing a product made by GM versus a product made by Mopar. So this is going to give you more detail as to why these Camaros and Corvettes are actually way easier to steal than a Charger or a Challenger here.
I've noticed recently, instead of going to like the hellcats, you know, the Chargers, Challengers, Durangos, all that stuff, I've seen a lot of Camaros.
It's because I can take a Camaro without having to use a bypass. Are you familiar with how Mopars are taken?
And this is where he talks about the process.
We have to tear out the glove compartment and then pull the carpet, and it gives us access to something called the Star Brute Force bypass. And so on Mopar, you need to use a bypass. Most kids don't know how to do it.
Well,
a Camaro or Corvette, it can just be plugged into the OBD2 and started like that. Like if you were here, I could show you basically how easy GM is to, we call it glitching.
So there it is, right? He talks about that even though Chargers and Challengers get stolen a good bit, it does take a little bit longer process to do. He says a lot of people don't know how to do it, but I mean, people do it. That's why when these cars get stolen, usually the glove compartment and all the passenger side stuff is ripped out, because they have to get to that piece there to be able to, you know, steal the car, things like that. There's multiple ways these cars are stolen, but that's usually one of the most popular way. That's why a lot of times when these cars are stolen or attempted to be stolen, that your keys don't work, because they're working on cloning, well, not cloning your keys, but actually making new keys for the car. So they go to that bypass thing that's behind the glove box, take your keys off and make new keys for it. Now, the GM cars are much different. Talking about Camaros, Corvettes, anything made by GM, even Cadillacs, stuff like that. Different, right? They use the OBD port and just plug it in there, wait 30 seconds, and they can just start the car up like that. They don't have to do this whole longer process of ripping out the glove compartment and things of that nature. So because with these Camaros and Corvettes and stuff like that, that you don't have to rip out and do other stuff, you just plug it directly in there, it's a much faster process to steal these cars, right? And like I said before, even though Dodges do get stolen a good bit, they're still not the easiest car to steal. So I know what you're thinking here. Like, I've mentioned Chevy, I mentioned GM cars and stuff like that. I've mentioned Mopars. I have not mentioned Ford. Are Fords easy to steal? Can a Ford be stolen? Well, according to a thief, those are almost impossible to steal. And he's going to mention that a few times here.
Money.
This is it.
Oh, I like his truck. See, if you want to keep your shit from getting stolen, buy a Ford. Those are the hardest ones to take nowadays.
And you see right there, he just said, if you want to not have your car stolen, buy a Ford. I know we talk a lot about Mustangs and hate on them and things like that, but a thief himself says they're the hardest ones to steal. Impossible, maybe no, but it's not worth the time that it takes, because when it comes to stealing cars, it's all about how quickly can you take a car, and the cars that can be taken quickly are going to be the cars that thieves going to target, such as Camaros, Corvettes, Chargers, Challengers. Even though it's going to take a little bit longer, they're still relatively easy to steal here. And here's another clip where he's actually driving through this dealership lot, and he says there's a whole bunch of Shelby trucks that's sitting there, and he's like, yo, this is pretty nice inventory, but they're Fords, I can't steal them. So I'm gonna show you that clip real quick.
So how's the security on this dealership? Are those cameras up there?
No. That's all for lighting and like this is probably one of the worst.
See all these Chevy trucks? I mean, Shelby.
The only thing that's saving them is that a lot of these are Fords. There's no security. There's no loudspeakers back here in the truck.
So you see right there, right? He even says the only thing saving all those Shelby trucks from being stolen is the fact that they're Ford. If they were not Fords, they were like GM or Mopar, they would all be gone. And if we're not familiar with the Shelby trucks are pretty much the performance trucks from Ford. You know, kind of like your TRX and stuff like that. Performance trucks of that nature, right? So you see right there, right? A couple of clips that a thief does mention that Ford does not get stolen because they're too hard to steal. So in order right now, if you're looking at American muscle cars and you want to know which ones are easiest to steal, Camaro is going to be the easiest to steal, even though they're not in production right now. They're still the easiest to steal. There's still a lot out there. Corvette is going to be easy to steal. I've seen quite a few of those starting to get stolen as of late. Anything GM made, so Cadillac, B Series, those things, Chevy, GM, you know, those GMC, I should say. Any car made by GM is going to be easiest to steal there. Now, Dodge, Mopar, that's going to be second. They are easy to steal, but not as easy. You still got to watch your back on the things. And this next clip I'm going to show you here, this thief actually goes into detail about things that he is scared of when it comes to stealing cars. So these are things that you want to definitely listen to here.
I think my biggest fear is secondary trackers. All day. Especially ones you worry about. That's what scares me to death. Secondary trackers that are wired to the car. Not anything like Apple tags. Apple tags are useless.
Wired trackers, not
useless.
air
that junk useless. And make sure when they install it, they put it somewhere that's not immediately underneath the steering wheel, because that's the first place anybody's going to check. Yeah, but if you put it somewhere wired into the trunk or into the engine bay, they're not thinking in the moment, and that, I think, it will give law enforcement enough time, because most law enforcement want to stop this.
No, yeah, for sure.
But what can they do when they just find a car abandoned in the middle of nowhere and there's no information about?
So there you have it there. He talks about what he is scared of the most, and the thing he mentioned there was GPS trackers. And he mentioned not just having it in the car, but where you put these in the car. Definitely not putting it right under the dash, because those are quickly found and can be taken out. But he said engine compartment, trunk, anywhere else where a thief is not thinking about it, because like I said before, when it comes to stealing cars, thieves want to do this as quickly as possible. They don't have to worry about any kind of extra things that they may run into. So they're not going to go look around the whole car for a GPS tracker. They're just going to hit the car and go, right? That is the name of the game. And that is something that he, as a car thief, is worried about, is a car tracker. So through this whole video and everything, so the thief talks about how they steal cars. So with GM cars, they're just plugging directly into the OBD port and program it and just pretty much gaining access to it and just starting the car from there. And you know, when Mopar is a close second that those are being stolen, he talks about the bypass that they have to use to steal those cars and things like that. And then right here, he talks about GPS tracking. So how do you protect yourself against guys like him that are after these cars? Now, he was nice enough to come on that YouTube channel and pretty much tell all the secrets of how this is done, the ins and outs and things to do to help stop this, even though that's something that he's done to feed his family and things like that. Like, how do you put yourself in a place to avoid that from happening to you? So the first thing he mentioned is GPS trackers here. And something that I use as a GPS tracker on my car, and a lot of people that I know use as well, is carlock, which is a GPS tracker. Now, carlock in the initial form does plug into the OBD port, which he just mentioned that that's not the place where you want to plug it in, because if you have a GM car, that's the first place that they're going to steal the car, that port, because they need that port to be able to steal your car. So you don't want to do that. So what you would need to do here is, if you do have a carlock device, take that and hardwire it to the car. Now, in my car, that's how I've done it. I do have a hardwired device. There's two ways you can do it. You can take the actual carlock device itself and buy a hardwiring kit, or you can actually get the carlock wired kit, which is pretty much the carlock itself that is only made to be wired to the car. Now, on top of carlock being a GPS tracker, it also gives you alerts as to things that is going on to your car. We're talking vibration alerts. We're talking if your car is moved alerts. We're talking about if the engine is started. And unfortunately, if you don't take heed to my warning and put it somewhere and they end up finding it and killing the power to it, unplugging it, then you'll get alert for that too. But you know, after that, you can't track it, so you shouldn't plug it into the OBD port. But you get all those alerts with carlock. And along with carlock, there's other accessories you can get as well to enhance your experience with it, right? You got vibration sensors. I have vibration sensors on my car, which work tremendously well. I have a few videos of those vibration sensors on my channel, and you definitely got to check that out, because they, like I said, they work extremely well. Hardwiring kit, which I already mentioned, that if you do have a carlock currently and you want to use the hardwire instead, then you can use that. You also have the car tag. Now, this is what the car tag does. Instead of you having to get out your car and arm it and unarm it every single time, the car tag pretty much automates that whole process for you. As you get closer to the car, it unarms it. As you get away from the car, it arms it for you, so you don't have to sit there and think about arming it and rearming and things like that. Everything just automated. It does it based off Bluetooth and your proximity to the car. Kind of like how your car works now. Like if your keys are close to the car, you can go and unlock it. If they're away from the car, it won't do it. So that adds that feature to it, which is definitely a very, very, very good accessory to have. Now, I can't mention all of those things and not give you guys like, you know, a deal to get some of that stuff, right? So the codes I'm about to put here, make sure you use these codes if you are interested in those devices and accessories yourself here. So this code right here will get you 10% off on the carlock itself. So make sure you use that when you get yourself one. And also this code right here will give you a 14-day free trial of the carlock service. And you can test it out for yourself and see how well this will work for you. I can attest, and I'm saying that not because, you know, I'm sponsored by them, but as someone who uses this product, it does do extremely well for me when it comes to alerts and things of that nature here. The link is going to be down below, both pinned in the comments and also in the description, so that we can go get your carlock and make sure you get yourself protected. So my advice here, based on what this thief is saying, based on what he said over here and everything, do not wait until something happens to go get a carlock. You want to make sure you get ahead of that and do so. Now, I know they're not making these Chargers and Challengers no more, whether Chargers and Challengers that we like. They're not making those anymore. We know they're not making Camaros anymore. They're not. And Corvettes are still out there. We're talking C7, C8, stuff of that nature, right? So all of those cars are at risk of being stolen if given the right opportunity. So make sure you get ahead of it and get yourself protected. I see plenty of times where people's cars are getting stolen and they say, well, I don't have any tracking or anything on it. By that point, it's too late. So that is going to wrap up today's video. Like I said, get protected. This professional car thief pretty much went step by step as to which cars are easy to steal and which cars are not easy to steal. And the most popular cars there are some of the easiest ones to steal. I know Mustangs are popular as well, but Chargers, Challengers, Mopar, all of those are easy. GM cars are really easy as well, even easier than Mopar. So protect yourself, right? Make sure you protect yourself. Make sure you get a carlock. Make sure you have that security on there, so that way you don't become a victim of this and can't track your car down if it gets to that point here. So make sure if you made it this far in the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we do a lot of car stuff on here and we talk a lot of car related things on here. We will catch you on the next video. We are out. Cut it.